Good morning. I'd like to welcome all of you this morning. My name is Era. My pronouns are she, her. I am a woman of a mid-century variety, and I am shockingly wearing all black. Whether you are here with us on site or on Zoom, and whether it is your first time here or one of many times, we are glad you are here with us today. We hope that you can stay for coffee or tea and conversation after the service. For this week's announcements, please check your bulletin as well as the bulletin board in the main hall fairly close to the front door. The chalice lighter in the sanctuary is Pat. Our chalice lighting words are, "To speak when silence feels safer," by Reverend Michelle Collins. This flame burns for the courage we find when fear makes sense, not the absence of doubt, but the choice to act anyway. We light it for those who speak when silence feels safer, and those who act when invisibility beckons.
My name is Jennifer Dunn. I go by she, her pronouns. I'm wearing a long dress today in some burgundy shades. And I'm just, as always, happy to be here with my UU family. Find my spot here. I have a storybook to read to you called Something Else by Catherine Cave and illustrated by Chris Riddell. I like this story because it's about a little lovable someone who stays true to who they are and keeps trying even when they feel left out. This story shows that when you keep being yourself, the right kind of friendships will find you. It reminds us that being real is a quiet kind of courage and resistance. On a windy hill, alone, with nothing to be friends with, lived something else. He knew that was what he was because everyone said so. If he tried to sit with them or walk with them or join in their games, they always said, "Sorry, you're not like us. You're something else. You don't belong." Something Else did his best to be like the others. He smiled and said hi, like they said. He painted pictures. He played their games when they let him. He brought his lunch in a paper sack like they did. It was no good. He didn't look like them or talk like them. He didn't see the things they saw. He didn't play the way they played. And as for the packed lunches, well, you don't belong here, they said. You're not like us. You're something else. Something Else went home. and while he was getting ready for bed, there was a knock on the door. Something was standing on the doorstep. "Hi there," it said. "Great to meet you. Can I come in?" "Excuse me?" said something else. "You're welcome," said the creature. It stuck out a paw, or maybe a flipper. Something else looked at the paw. "I think you've come to the wrong place," he said. The creature shook his head. "No, I haven't. This place is perfect. Look." And before something else realized what was happening, it walked right in and sat down on his supper. "Do I know you?" asked something else, puzzled. "Know me?" The creature laughed. "Of course you do. Take a good look. Go on." Something else looked. He walked around the creature from front to back or back to front. He didn't know what to say, so he didn't say anything. "Don't you see?" the creature cried. "I'm just like you. You're something else, and I'm one too." It stuck out its paw again and smiled. Something else was too surprised to smile back. He didn't take the paw either. "Like me?" he said. "You're not like me. In fact, you're not like anything I've ever seen. I'm sorry, but you're definitely not my sort of something else." He walked to the door and opened it. "Good night." The creature put down its paw slowly. "Oh," it said. It looked sadder and smaller. It reminded something else of something, but he couldn't think what. While he was trying to remember, the creature left. Then something else remembered. "Wait," he cried, "don't go." He ran after the creature as fast as he could, and when he caught up, he grabbed its paw and held on tight. "You're not like me, but I don't mind. You can stay with me if you'd like to." And the creature did. From then on, something else had something to be friends with. They smiled and said hi to each other. They painted pictures. They played each other's games, or tried to. They ate their lunches side by side. They were different, but they got along. And when something turned up that really was weird looking, they didn't say he wasn't like them and he didn't belong there. They moved right up and made room for him too. Okay, it's time for each of you to light your candles if you haven't already. And as you take them with you downstairs, remember that they represent the light and love of everyone here going with you. We will all sing "On Your Way" to you as you head down. And now Eva will play the prelude. It is Album Leaf by Frédéric Chopin.
Thank you, Eva. Our song of the month, James Weldon Johnson, M.A., Ph.D., is the author of the verses of Lift Every Voice and Sing, which is our hymn of the month for January. He was born in Jacksonville, Florida in 1871 and attended Clark University in Atlanta, Georgia. Following graduation in 1894, he taught at the largest school in Jacksonville, Florida, adding 9th and 10th grades and eventually becoming principal. He passed the Florida bar exam in 1897. In 1904, he became treasurer and then president of the Colored Republican Club. He continued his work as an educator and went on to become an author, activist, lawyer, diplomat, professor, and ambassador until his death in 1938. Lift Every Voice and Sing is among his most enduring works. Let us now sing together, Lift Every Voice and Sing. It's number 149 in the gray hymnal. The words will be on the screens. You are welcome to stand or remain seated as we sing.
It is recommended to follow along in the book. This is kind of a difficult song. Matter of fact, quite a difficult song to follow along with. So if you read music 149, if you read music, lift every voice.
I'm Millie. My pronouns are she and her. I'm a member of the Pastoral Care Circle. Today I'm wearing a gray turtleneck and a blue jacket and slacks. As a community, we share joys and concerns to keep connected. Slips of paper are available at the greeters table in the hall for those in the sanctuary to use for our joys and concerns. During the week, you may send your joys and concerns by email to pastoralcare@springfielduu.org or by leaving a voicemail on the church phone 417-883-3922. If you're on Zoom, please use the chat box now for sharing your joys and concerns. All of these joys and concerns will be included in the members' email on Tuesday. Yeah, you can stand right there. Sure. Thank you. Oh, no. Excuse me. Yeah, right here. Oh, sure. Thank you. Sorry, folks. Stage right, stage left. Okay. Thank you, though, for being willing. All of these joys and concerns will be included in the members' email on Tuesday. We honor each joy or concern with a lighted candle, a symbol of the love we as a community offer for each of these joys and concerns. This morning, Pat will be lighting the candles. And now, as we begin this time of sharing, we know that though we are in multiple physical spaces, we are together in beloved community. To begin, we hold in love all of us, those present and those absent. We light a candle for our church community. We start with a joy. It's from me in the Pastoral Care Circle. Today is Judy Oliver's 84th birthday. I know she said she was going to try to be here. I don't know if she is. So let's light a candle of joy for Judy's 84th birthday. From Yomi, we have a joy. My son, Xavier, won gold at the Special Olympics bowling tournament in Blue Springs. I'm so proud. We light a candle of joy for Yomi and Xavier. From Sylvie. Sylvie has a joy. I recently celebrated my 20th birthday. Light a candle of joy for Sylvie. From Eva, later this morning, Paul will lead us in singing Turn, 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 which comes from Bud Waller's favorite scripture, as we learned from his memorial service yesterday. So we light a candle of joy for that. From the Pastoral Care Circle, we have a joy and also a request for all of you, please. Linnell, and you might remember Linnell as the little lady that used to sit in the wheelchair up here in the front, and she isn't here today, but she will be celebrating her 102nd birthday on January 25th. There are cards, birthday cards, for us to sign on the table over there by that whiteboard. Please do add your name and greeting, and we add a candle of joy for Linnell. From Cynthia Moore, we have a concern. A dear Iowa City friend died earlier this week. She was a remarkable artist and effervescent soul. We light a candle of concern for Cynthia and her friend. We have a concern from someone, heartbreak for the murder of Renee Good and the lies being spread about it by our government. We light a candle of concern for Renee. I'll check the chat box. Well, I may be missing something, but Scoop Perry's name is here, but I don't see what he has written. So maybe we'll just light a candle of concern or joy for whatever it was, Pat. Okay. We honor the complex and heartbreaking struggles of our world. We light a candle for all who are impacted. In closing, for those joys and concerns that remain unspoken in our hearts, we would light a candle if there were one. Oh, there is one. Okay. All right. Let's double up here. Okay. May we hold each of these joys and concerns in our hearts and minds. May our community of love ease sorrow and boost celebration. Let us now join together in 1 minute of shared silence, followed by Spirit of Life.
The week of January 11th in UU history. John Hassler Dietrich was born on January 14th, 1878, on a farm in Chambersburg, Pennsylvania, into a family of the Reformed Church faith. After serving first as minister to a Reformed church, he became a Unitarian minister in Spokane, Washington in 1911. Called to the First Unitarian Society of Minneapolis Dietrich, along with Charles Francis Potter and Curtis Reese, was a founding member and major spokesman for the religious humanist movement. His sermons were published as the Humanist Pulpit series, and his services were always packed to standing room only. Dietrich helped to found the American Humanist Association. He died in 1957 at the age of 79. The offering that we take each Sunday isn't just a stale habit. It's an opportunity to recommit to this place and to these people. Our offering is an affirmation, a yes. When we give, we say yes to something we value. With our gifts freely given, may we say yes to the values of our faith. May our offering help us practice Unitarian Universalism within and beyond our congregation as tools to empower our mission. Rooted in love and guided by reason, we are a welcoming Unitarian Universalist community that nurtures personal and spiritual growth and advocates for equity and justice in the world. If electronic giving is your preferred method, or if you are on Zoom, virtual giving options are available via our website, springfielduu.org. The offertory is I Dreamed a Dream from Les Miserables, with music by Claude Michel Schoenberg, performed by Eva.
Good morning. Good morning. I am Reverend Michelle Scott Huffman. My pronouns are she, her. I'm the minister here at First UU. And I'm a middle-aged woman of, I think, average height, with short, spiky, salt and pepper hair, lazily wearing khaki pants and a navy sweater today. Today's message is an invitation to discomfort. I suspect that had some of you known that, you wouldn't be here. But here we are. We begin with words by the poet Dana Falls from her poem entitled Allow. There is no controlling life. Try corralling a lightning bolt, containing a tornado. Dam a stream and it will create a new channel. Resist and the tide will sweep you off your feet. Allow and grace will carry you to higher ground. The only safety lies in letting it all in, the wild and the weak, fear, fantasies, failures, and success. When loss rips off the doors of the heart, or sadness veils your vision with despair, practice becomes simply bearing the truth. In the choice to let go of your own way of being, the whole world is revealed to your new eyes. We spend much of our lives bracing for impact. Notice even right now how you are sitting. Is your jaw clenched? Are your shoulders up by your ears, or your ears down by your shoulders? Is there a subtle tightness in your stomach? You see, humans have a profound biological instinct to resist pain. If we touch a hot stove, we pull back. If we see a threat, we run. But sometimes we take this biological survival mechanism and apply it to our emotional and spiritual lives in ways that aren't as helpful. We try to pull back from sadness. We try to outrun uncertainty. We try to corral the lightning bolt, as Falls writes. We operate under the assumption that if we just resist the uncomfortable parts of our lives hard enough, they will go away. If we worry enough, we can prevent disaster. If we complain enough, even the weather may change. But the spiritual teacher, Pema Chodron, offers us a different and somewhat startling invitation. She suggests that the way to dissolve the tension in our lives is not to escape it, but to meet it face to face. She writes about the mundane resentments we feel. The room is too hot. The room is too cold. The wind is rattling against the window. And our mind instantly says, this is wrong. This should be different. She says when we feel resentment because the room is too hot, we could meet the heat and feel its fieriness and its heaviness. When we worry because the wind is shaking our windows, we could meet the wind and hear its sound. She calls this cutting our expectations for a cure. This is a radical concept. We have been conditioned to always seek the cure or the quick fix. And this conditioning has a lot to do with our resistance to sitting with discomfort. If someone is crying in our presence, what do? We grab them a tissue and we say whatever we have to say to make them stop. When in fact, what they probably need is someone to sit with them in their sadness and let them cry it out. We soothe ourselves with the idea that one day we will finally get our lives organized, finally fix our flaws, finally control our environment, and then we can relax. Chaudhry tells us to stop waiting. She invites us into what she calls relaxing with hopelessness. Now that sounds depressing to our modern ears, and we love hope. We just spent a whole month leaning into it through the stories of 4 different world religions. But rest assured, she isn't talking about despair. She's talking about giving up the hope that this moment is something other than what it is. I might use the word giving up pretense instead of relaxing with hopelessness. But she writes, without giving up this hope that there's somewhere better to be, that there's someone better to be, we will never relax with where we are or who we are. When we stop resisting the rain, we just get wet. And it turns out getting wet is bearable. When we stop resisting our grief, we just feel sad. It turns out sadness is bearable. It is the resistance to the sadness that creates the suffering. It turns out discomfort is bearable. And it is the place out of which transformation flows. It has been said that change becomes possible when the pain of staying where we are is greater than the pain or the fear of trying something different. Now, we can misunderstand this teaching, and we might think that allowing and accepting means becoming passive. If we are supposed to relax with the present moment, does that mean we just roll over when we see injustice? Do we just allow oppression? Do we relax in the face of cruelty? This is where we must broaden our understanding of resistance. The activist and scholar Angela Davis famously flipped that line in the Serenity Prayer. You know the prayer, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, which is an important prayer for us in some times and places in our lives. But Angela Davis flipped it to say, I am no longer accepting the things I cannot change, I'm changing the things I cannot accept. And at first glance, this seems like a contradiction to the words we were just thinking about. Dana Faulds says in her poem, Allow, and Davis says, I will not accept it. But I don't believe that these two women are arguing with one another. I believe they're describing two necessary halves of the same circle. We cannot change what we refuse to look critically at. When we are in a state of emotional resistance, denying reality, wishing things were different, closing our eyes to the pain of the world because it hurts too much to look, we are powerless. If I refuse to accept that the room is cold, I will just sit there shivering and resentful. If I accept the reality that I am cold, I can get up and do something about it. The same is true for the world that we live in. If we refuse to let in the pain of the world because it's too scary, we cannot and will not take part in its healing. Dana Faulds writes, when loss rips off the doors of the heart, practice becomes simply bearing the truth. And that's the bridge, bearing the truth. Angela Davis isn't saying that we should live in a fantasy world. She's saying that once we have stared the truth in the face, once we have allowed the reality of injustice to register in our hearts, we do not resign ourselves to it. We use that clarity to fuel action. And action fueled by our clarity will always be more direct and more productive than action fueled by our anger, our sadness, or our fear. There is a great wisdom in pushing past our own resistance to gain clarity about the reality of our situation. There's also wisdom in learning how to recognize our internal resistance and practice welcoming discomfort as a bridge to external action. Remember, internal resistance is a tightening. It's a refusal to feel. It's the armor that keeps us from intimacy with life. And we have to lay it down. We must, as Fold says, let the tide carry us to higher ground. We must accept that we are vulnerable, that we will die, that we get sad, that the wind shakes the windows of our lives. And once we drop that internal resistance, we find that we have a new energy available to us. We're no longer wasting our strength fighting the fact that things are hard. We are now free to ask, what does this reality require of me? We accept the reality of the moment and we sit attentively in the discomfort so that we can effectively change the reality of the future. Here's where it gets uncomfortable. Years ago, I painted a protest sign that says, "Dismantling white supremacy requires disrupting white comfort." When I carry it, white folks refuse to make eye contact with me. I know that there are people in this room and in other places hearing my voice right now who are incredibly uncomfortable with the language of white supremacy in polite liberal spaces. And if you feel yourself having a visceral reaction to my choice of words, I hope you'll sit in that discomfort. Because there is no comfortable way to frame our current reality. The reality that the desire to rid our country of brown-skinned immigrants is so pervasive and consuming that literally anyone who gets in the way is subject to immediate extrajudicial killing. This reality is a direct consequence of unchecked white supremacy that continues to flourish in this country, not because of radicals in white hoods or camo pants and face coverings, but because the majority of folks who are more moderate refuse to face its reality. Because that means sitting in the discomfort of examining our own self-interest in keeping the systems the way they are. If I were to frame this with a different topic, we might have a different reaction. If I said dismantling male supremacy requires disrupting male comfort, I suspect that most of us in this room, males included, would agree. If I said dismantling cis heteronormativity requires disrupting cis hetero comfort, many would agree, though fewer of us would jump on board. Either because that's not really important to us, or because the lived impact of decentering our own normativity is just a bridge too far. If I say dismantling neurotypical privilege requires dismantling the functioning of spaces that have always and only been welcoming to neurotypical people, then you're like, come on, Michelle. When do I get to stop being uncomfortable and expected to learn new things? Never. The answer is never. Because there will always be someone for whom our privilege, yours and mine, is the knee on their neck or the 3 shots through their windshield. And I pray that we are never desensitized to that. but that the discomfort of it moves us to naming the realities in operation within and around us, and acting out of that clarity to bring justice. So the invitation today is twofold. First, where are you fighting a war with reality that you cannot win? It is probably inside. Where are you resenting the weather, your aging body, a past event that can't be undone? Can you, for just a moment, drop the hope for a cure and relax with the reality of what is? Can you sit with the discomfort and ask what it has to teach you? And second, once you have relaxed into that truth, once you have let the world rip off the doors of your heart, what new strength do you find there? What is yours to do in response to this clarity? Friends, when we stop protecting ourselves from the pain of the world, we find that we have power to heal it. When we allow the truth in, when we bear the truth, then with eyes wide open, we can go out and change the things we cannot accept. May it be so. Blessed be, and amen. The interlude today is Turn, 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 with music by Pete Seeger and words by Tashi Seeger. The lyrics will be on the screens, and Paul will lead us all in singing.
The original words to this song came from the book of Ecclesiastes in the Christian Bible. These words, however, came from Toshi Seeger, who is Pete Seeger's wife. And they're different, so pay attention. Oops. While I get warmed up here. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. A time for work, a time for play, a time for night, a time for day, a time to sleep, a time to wake, a time for candles on the cake. A time to dress, a time to eat, a time to sit and rest your feet, a time to teach, a time to learn, a time for all to take their turn. To everything, turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to cry and make a fuss, a time to
Joel Miller writes, "Let our lives be a prayer that waters dry souls, mends broken hearts, refuses to be terrorized, seeks the world's beauty, and carries us through its storms." Our final song today is "If Every Woman in the World." It's number 1026 in the Teal hymnal. You may stand or sit to sing, and remain standing if you are after we're done, so we can close the service. Thanks for being good sports with the screen thing there. I caught on that you were trying to memorize words for the next verse, so I don't know what's happening, but just a couple of things before we go. Do stick around for coffee and conversation. There's some conversation prompts if you don't know how to start a conversation with someone. Couple other things. At the November congregational meeting, we voted to approve a budget which includes funds to hire a director of religious education. The DRE Search Committee encourages members and friends to provide feedback in the form of a survey. A link to the survey will be in this week's emails and a paper copy here next week. We'll be starting up Date with Death Club again soon, so if you're interested in thinking about end-of-life questions and how to engage those conversations without fear And with some intention, there will be a registration available for that soon. We'll be doing a new member welcome here in a couple weeks. So if you're in the process to becoming a new member or want to be in that process, talk to me or Pharaoh, wave your hand, Pharaoh, and we can help get you directed in that process. There was one more thing I was going to say. Oh, next week, we're going to be celebrating MLK Day. It's going to be more uncomfortable than this week. The title of my message this week is next week is Epic Adventures in Missing the Point. And we're going to talk about all of the ways that we have worked really hard to domesticate Martin Luther King Jr.'s message and how to bring it back. Birthday cards for Linnell over here on the table. It's great to see you all. I'm glad you're here. We are now going to extinguish our chalice. Thank you, Pat. And as we extinguish our chalice, hopefully the words will stay on the screen. Our service here is ending. Our service to the world begins anew. Go in peace, friends.